So I'm always jealous of those people who run the RV campgrounds in national parks and things like that, but I'm going to go one step even better than that. And today, Kat and I are coming down about halfway down the Baja Peninsula. We are at a yurt ground, I guess, maybe that's what you call it. And I'm going to be talking to the owners. These folks have been here for a number of years and bought this campground or yurt ground from another couple that was selling it off. So I just want to talk to them and tell you the story of how maybe you could do something similar and find your new life down in Mexico running a campground or a B&B, things like that. So we weren't actually planning on stopping here. We got further than we anticipated. So these guys have no clue that we want to interview them. So this is a last minute deal, but I just talked to them. They said they would do it. So this place is called San Ignacio or Ignacio Springs Bed and Breakfast. And this is something we actually camped. Last time we were coming down, we camped just down the road from here and saw this place as we were walking up the street to go to the town. I'm really excited to meet these folks. It's a great place to stay. I want to hear all about the place here. If you are traveling between the United States and those lower parts of Baja California Sur from La Paz on down, this is a great place. It's about halfway in terms of if you're driving pretty quick, you can get to here. We didn't think we'd make it all this way. We thought we'd be back about an hour or two behind here in Guerrero Negro, but this is such a nice place to stay. The town here, I'll have some video from that too. Hopefully the town here, this tiny little town, is gorgeous. But let's go ahead and meet the owners of the Ignacio Springs Bed and Breakfast.
Well, I was just under 50 and Paul was just over 50 when we decided to make the big leap here. And the previous owners, they were also from Canada, from British Columbia, just getting ready to retire. They were tired of, serving people 24 hours a day. And they always had a little side business of making sausage and meat and bacon and all of that. So, and they have a little ranch house. They retired and just moved across the river and down the river a ways, and they're still our neighbors. So that's really nice. They said they would never go back to Canada because this is their home now. They love the climate. They love the area. The people are so friendly.
As you know, on this channel, I love to bring you interviews from people who are almost retired in Mexico. So they've kind of given up maybe a career or whatever they've had going on back in Canada, United States, Europe maybe, and moved to Mexico before they turn 65 is kind of my ideal here. You don't have to wait till you're 65 to move to Mexico. So maybe you're a digital nomad. Maybe you do something like this in terms of buying a bed and breakfast, yurt ground, and just making it happen.
Yeah, May 2018, we took over from the previous owners who were here for, I think, 17 years, and they built it all up and put in the yurts. So their concept has just carried on throughout the years, and a lot of their return guests have become our return guests and our friends, and it's really nice to be here and meet all the travelers coming down. You meet all different kinds of people from different countries, different states, Canada, the US, everywhere. It's
pretty neat.
Yeah.
So had you thought about doing this?
No, it found us.
Yeah, it just kind of fell there, and Paul wanted to wait, and I said, well, we're not getting any younger. We might as well, if we're going to do it, let's just do it. And then there's no regrets. We don't want to look back and say, well, what if, So we quit our jobs, sold everything in Canada, and became semi-retired in Mexico.
Actually working harder now. But and I always wanted to move south anyway. And at the time I had a job where, it was fly in, fly out. So I always liked Arizona. Hey, a little further south than Arizona, so that works out fine for me. So here we are.
We've made a few friends here. It's, there is a little bit of a language barrier. That's probably about the hardest thing, but we're working on it. We're slowly learning our Spanish. We knew nothing when we came here.
You're doing much better than I am.
Well, I learning the terms so I can actually answer the phone and talk on the phone to somebody when they're speaking Spanish to me because I understand why they're calling the hotel. So... But so it's, I think we have plans to not move back to Canada either. It's like Mexico is waking up to this every day I'll never live in a town that sells snow shovels again. We have, I think, between 12 and 14 staff members. Since the hurricane and the fire, we've hired a few more to help us clean that are just part-time. But I have 6, I think I have 8 staff to help me clean the rooms, cook the meals. So I'm not working 24 hours a day. I do most of the office work, and I have a helper who helps me a little bit sometimes there too. Paul has maintenance guys, so
three maintenance.
Maintenance that are full-time.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably more than we need, but we moved here to retire and enjoy, not to work our fingers to the bone. And hiring staff is very affordable here.
Yeah.
You know, I find you have to pay their Social Security and their vacations and all of that, but it's in the long run, it's affordable to have full-time staff, and it really helps the community to help everybody in the community when you can hire them instead of do it yourself. Mario was our first hire of new employees when we took over. There was a few of the old staff who stayed, and Mario, I knew I needed somebody who could help me translate more, and he speaks enough English to help, and he's learned English along the way, and I've learned Spanish from him. But he does everything. He greets people, he makes reservations. If we need to go, or if we want to go on a vacation or a holiday, Mario will stay and look after the place. Like, he's very trustworthy, he's very good. You can find such good staff here, and Mario loves this place like it's his own, and you know, we love having him here to help us out.
Welcome to National Spring. This is the better place to have a very good fun, relaxing, and also when you are right here, we give it to you a free breakfast for tomorrow morning. Breakfast is included in the price. It will be in that area from 7 to 10.
So we have 1 hectare, or about 2.5 acres. We have 9 yurts and 2 casitas, so 11 total. They're different sizes. They range from 1 bed to our largest has 3 queens.
And a futon, so it could sleep up to 8 people. A big family, it could sleep.
Yes. And they're all different themes, again, to the previous owners, and we've kind of carried that on. And
we have to have the Canadian-themed yurt.
Yes. And being where we are, being on a river, in a palm oasis, it's not something, you know, unless you drive off the main road, people don't know this is here. And it's
San Ignacio is a hidden little gem.
It is.
Like, people always say, I've been to San Ignacio, and you ask them, have you seen the river and all that? No, I haven't. Well, then you've only driven by on the highway. You haven't seen San Ignacio. Right. You have to turn off the highway, and within 100, 200 yards, you're at this beautiful, gigantic freshwater river where you can kayak. It's swimming, and then you drive another 1.5 miles into town, and there's a mission that's over like 300 and some odd years old. It's such a quaint little old Mexican town. It's so quiet. It's so small. You know, they have their siestas every day from 1 till 3. So don't go shopping then. But
and even when they come here, catches so many people by surprise that, you know, they just don't realize, you know, this river is here and you know what this is, and so it's nice when they find out that it's more than what they thought it would be. So
yeah, the oasis in the desert idea is something. It really is a thing down here in Baja California, sir, because you're driving for hours and hours and hours through the desert, and kind of like, if you picture a Roadrunner cartoon, you know, that is what it looks like out here. And then you picture, like, you know, Wile E. Coyote is going to, you know, drop a rock onto the highway, because there's rocks that drop onto the highway. But that's what 99% probably of the Baja Peninsula is. But then there's these little oases like this one, and it's like there's palm trees, there's water. And they can be easy to miss. Like Bonnie said, San Ignacio is easy to miss. You kind of got to get off the highway, not very far, but you got to check it out. Also, a quick tip: the missions tend to be located near the oases.
San Ignacio is what, about 1,500 people roughly?
At the most,
it depends who you talk to, but and as for the expat community, when they're all here and this time of year, maybe 20? Maybe
20 at the most, I think.
But there's 8.
And I think we know at least 16 of them as good friends.
Yeah.
So, normally, though, there's only full-time year-round, because it does get warm in the summer, about 8 of us who are here year-round, full-time.
Yeah.
And the summer is, like, a great time to come, because the water's perfect for swimming. We get a lot of Mexican nationals who come from the mainland who, you know, they're on their summer holidays, and they'll come and stay for a few days or a week. In July, they have their traditional fiesta here in San Ignacio, and we're full of just locals and Mexican people. And they have a great time in the river, swimming, kayaking, going to the fiesta. And, you know, most of our travelers are Americans and Canadians.
Yeah.
And, you know, our busiest time is in the whale season when the gray whales come down to
That's January to April.
Yeah, January through first week or two of April
It's our
we're
height.
very busy.
Yeah. and that's always something that people need to do once
Come
or
and
twice.
Come and kiss a whale.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the bonus. I mean, it's whale watching with, you know, the opportunity to possibly pet a whale. And you know, it's something I don't think there's anywhere in the world that you can do that without, you know, limitations. So it certainly gives you that opportunity to do something that you wouldn't be able to do anywhere else. So, yeah, it's a pretty neat experience to do.
So we were finishing that video up right as the sun was setting last night. Gorgeous sunset over the water. We are now in the car, just had breakfast here, wonderful breakfast, and we are heading south towards La Paz. We should be there today. And actually there's some more videos for you. One, which is another interview with some folks who have made it happen already, moved down before turning 65. And this other one up here is about the roads that we are going to experience today. They call it something like the devil's spine, the curves that are heading in. Should be no problem in a car, a little bit iffy in an RV. Hasta luego.